All right. So, guys, today we have Elena with us. She's here from Istanbul. She has got more than 10 plus years of experience in IELTS speaking module, and she helps students get a 7 plus band in IELTS. Welcome, Elena, and I'm really glad to have you over here in this session.
Hi, hello everyone, and I would like to thank Shubham, if I spelled it right, if I
Yeah.
pronounce it right, so for inviting me over, because it's my pleasure to be at any help, at any use to my students and to the listeners.
Right. So, Elena, first of all, before we jump onto the topic, I would like to know how did you get into this? Was this your passion, or I mean, got into this via some other thing, or how was it? I mean, how did you come to know that, yeah, this is the thing that I want to do?
Well, actually, it didn't happen at once. It's
Mm.
been quite a long path, I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But I've started teaching in Izmir, and it was back in 2012.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been quite. I started teaching speaking skills because I worked as a native teacher
Right.
in different courses, language courses, and different institutions and private schools where I am actually working at the moment as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me about, I think, 9 years to realize that I actually would like to upscale, to take myself to a new level, and I'd like to help my students to pass IELTS, but
Mm.
speaking module. And I can
Right.
explain why I decided to prepare for speaking module, because back then, like about 4 years ago already, I had to myself pursue an academic goal. I
Mm-hmm.
had to pass TOEFL, and speaking was the strongest skill according to the scale that I took, and it was on scale of IELTS. I got band 8 in TOEFL, so I decided that probably that's what I can help my students with.
Mm-hmm.
I started to dig into it deeper and deeper and find different strategies to help the learners
Right.
progress in their speaking, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how I actually ended up. And actually, to be honest, like if now I have, if I have a chance to take and choose IELTS or TOEFL, I would go for IELTS, because to me it's a bit more organized, less complex, because TOEFL has integrated skills, and IELTS it has better. I don't say better structure, but it's like,
Right.
just for me, it's just a little bit um, more approachable, I would say.
Right.
Yes, I would
Right.
put it this way.
Understood. Perfect. Sounds very exciting the way you have come up till now. So, speaking about IELTS, so can you highlight what is the important part about the speaking module and what is its significance in IELTS especially?
Well, there are three main parts in IELTS speaking. The first part is, uh, just a quick, I call it a warm-up discussion with an examiner. An examiner will ask you some questions about yourself, something about you, your job, your family, hobbies, so that to get you at ease in the exam, and it will take you about 4 minutes.
Mhm.
And so this is one of the basic actually parts. And then after you get it is
Right.
in this part, you're going to move on to part two.
Hmm.
And that is the part where most of the students struggle, because you have to speak at length. It's a long turn. So for 2 minutes, you have to be speaking and express yourself, describe a situation, describe an event, describe an object. So normally Thursday, why it's quite difficult, because we're not used to monologue, we're not used to speak, we are
Mm.
used to speak and have a dialogic way of communication, but here you have to express yourself at length, and that's really tough for many
Right.
students, and not just by saying something basic, but go into detail.
Right.
And the third part, so the third part is connected with the second one. Usually you have some questions referencing the second part, and it's more, I wouldn't say like it's not really academic, because speaking cannot be really academic speaking,
Right.
but it's more formal. That would be
Right.
a proper way to say that. So, and it takes like 3 to 4 minutes. So all in total, you will be speaking for about 12 minutes, and the examiners have to stick to the time strictly, because I forgot to mention, I'm an examiner myself. I
Okay.
don't teach. I'm not an examiner for IELTS, but for example, I assess FC, flyers exam, and
Understood.
starters and these sort of exams. So we have to follow the timing really strictly.
Okay. All right. So, what are the parameters that you consider when you are an examiner and you are assessing a candidate? Can you just point out some of the basic parameters that you're looking out for?
Well, great question. Thank you. Well, sure. There are four main parameters, four main criteria that we are assessing the candidates. The first one is pronunciation. We do not assess your accent. You just need to be eligible, understandable to people. You can speak American, British accent, or your own accent. It's totally fine.
Okay.
And the second one is grammar. So grammatical range, and how flexible you can use it, how better you juggle the language.
Right.
And the third one is vocabulary range, so lexical resources. You have to demonstrate the range of vocabulary, and again, being flexible in using it. So paraphrasing some words, finding synonyms to one word and another. And the final one is fluency and coherence. So fluency is how well-paced your speech is, and coherence is how well structured and logical your speech is. So these are the four criteria that you have to follow, and you have to be aware of.
Right. And speaking about parameters that you have given us such a depth about what parameters you are assessing a student on or a candidate on, have you noticed any pattern or realized any pattern that your candidates are usually making a frequent mistake on this parameter, missing out on that parameter or something like that? Is there anything common that you have, seen as a pattern amongst candidates?
Well, I can say that, of course, all the students are all individuals and they have different struggles.
Okay.
But many, of course, struggle with grammar, and they make some mistakes in grammar, let's say word order, or many students, when talking about the past, they, they start speaking in past tenses and then switch to present and back and past, so they don't have this consistency. And of course, an examiner will spot on that. And the other thing, I think most of the students struggle with actually generating ideas.
Okay.
And so most students just try to focus on grammar and vocabulary usage, and they forget about ideas. And actually, what I usually suggest to the students is, and I usually say, guys, if you struggle, if you're at the beginning of your learning process and practicing, forget about accuracy, focus on fluency, on what you're going to say, or not on how. When time comes, time goes by, you will be able to control your grammar and vocabulary range, and it will be all manageable for you once your brain is ready. So just try to get into the flow, speak as much as you can, and then it will all come to the point that you can manage everything at once.
Right. Understood that. And speaking about, all the parameters, and you pointed out all the things that usually candidates are, going wrong on. What do you suggest, for the exam day? Are there any specific tips that you give students for the candidates for the exam day? You should be. So see, basically, we over here are training a lot of students for MBA entrances. We usually give them a handful of tips like be calm, drink oxygenated water, don't lose your cool, uh, be focused. So are there any tips that you do give to your students that make a difference on that day, since it's a very huge day for them, they're taking an exam and everything?
Well, you have mentioned the main tips actually, that you have to have a great sleep on a night before, you have
Right,
to be cool and, just feel yourself confident. And also you should think about smiling, and if you're allowed to use the phone, probably I'm not sure that you're allowed to use the phone before you enter the exam, but
mm,
at least in the morning when you wake up, you can watch something funny,
mm,
something what will lift up your mood. It will
right,
be really useful because when we laugh, we produce the necessary hormones, and
right,
that helps us to feel confident.
correct,
That would be one of the suggestions. So when entering the room, also you smile so you will seem confident, and think about your posture. Your posture um, should be up
confident,
straight.
yes,
You shouldn't slouch. You should be confident. Although an examiner is not assessing your posture,
right,
this all creates the impression on you. And we have just 30 seconds to make the first impression. So
correct,
it's better to have it, to have it
right.
right.
Yeah. And my next question was regarding a post-COVID IELTS. So I assume that they would have changed the way or the pattern that they were taking the exam. So has it gone completely online or it's still happening offline at some places? What's the thing like after COVID?
Well, that's a perfect question. Yes, unfortunately, IELTS was not available in many parts of the world due to the
Hmm.
COVID, because some of them had only face-to-face version.
Hmm.
And as far as I know, it's they haven't announced that they're ready to have it totally online.
Hmm.
So they plan to do it this year in 2022, to switch it to online for the ones who live, let's say, in far away, in the middle of nowhere, we can say, in some
Right.
places that hard to reach to this center. Uh, but I think they are not actually 100% ready for that yet. As far as I know, I haven't seen that any of my students took the online version, but electronic version surely is available, so you can get on into the center, and you can just take it on, not paper-based but computer-based, and the results will come even sooner. Like my students received the results in 3 to 4 days when
Right.
they took electronic version. So I think this is one of the benefits, and everything is same, assessment is totally same,
Right.
but still, even it's computer based, you will have a face-to-face communication with an examiner. So what they are actually trying to switch to right now is to have this face-to-face discussion with an examiner to online.
Okay.
And if you take it from home, you should have like kind of video conferencing, and that way you will take your IELTS. So I don't know, hopefully they will arrange it very soon, so it will be more achievable for
Better.
everyone to take it.
Right, right, makes sense. And Elena, one last thing that I want to ask, which a lot of students have requested from mine, you being a coach for IELTS speaking module, how do you operate? Like, let's suppose students from India want to join you, or they want to get trained from you. So, what's the procedure like, or you're not accepting international students, or how does it work? Can you just shed some light on that?
I would like to say that most of my students are international.
Okay.
99% of my students are international from every part of the world. I'm open to accept any students,
Hmm.
provided that they have like international payment systems.
Right.
We will talk about it, of course, with each student individually.
Correct.
I provide some different
Hmm.
options for different countries.
Hmm.
However, yes, the only thing you need to do is just to fill out the form.
Okay.
I will assess your speaking. I'll see if you are, let's say, B1 plus, then I would like to offer you my course, which lasts for 3 months. And if you're A2 level, then I will suggest you to go for a speaking club that is run by one of my teacher partners, and I trained her to do it. She was my student at the beginning. She's also an English teacher. So she's doing that speaking club. She runs it 3 times a week. And so you can get into the flow. You can meanwhile study more grammar points. And once you're B1, you can be accepted to the course, because that is usually students who who would like to get an admission at the university or for work permit. They usually need band 6, and that's why I assume that they should be at least band 5 at the time I take them, so they will understand all the instructions, because my course is totally in English, and they need to understand that course well to succeed and to practice. And so also there won't be in the group, because I do online sessions myself, and so there won't be in the group the students who won't be able to cope up with the pace and who will be able to understand what's going on. Yeah, so and actually what is a plus is that I have a total package for students. They are not only enrolling and getting the theory and the video lessons that they will get when they enroll for the course and the homework check, but they also get the practice 2 times in a week. We meet online as a group and we discuss the questions. I respond to their questions and I give them detailed feedback, and the groups are usually small. I don't accept a lot of students in the group because I really want to provide quality education to each and every of my students.
Right, makes sense. All right, that's pretty insightful information that you have given. And anything like a final advice that you would like to give to all IELTS appearing students who would be watching this or who would be thinking of giving IELTS in future? Like there are people who start right from a very light scratch level. So anything that you would like to suggest them?
Sure. Well, to begin with, you should understand your point A, so what your current level is. You have to be tested, and you will set your goal accordingly. So your goal should be realistic. Many students come to me and they say, I want band 8. Okay, let's check your level first. And it turns out, let's say the level is, their current level is band 5. So then, of course, we can achieve band 8 in time, but it will take years. So, and I think that in this case, they should take better private lessons or general English lessons, not an IELTS preparation course, so that it will be more effective for them. And so they need to know their point A to achieve point B, to set the goal where they want to get. And I would say that to score a half band higher than they are right now in 3 months is possible. Some students score even a band higher. Let's say they come to me band 5, and in 3 months' time they could score a band 6, and that is a success, of course. So because it's just it shows the result of a great training, great work, self-discipline, dedication, and etc. And another tip I would like to give is, of course, an IELTS is a high-stake exam. It's really important for your future. But you should not forget that this is just for one of the first steps that you will take, and ahead there are many more goals you have, and IELTS actually is one of the easiest. It's just the language skill, and just enjoy it. Yeah, this is what you need to do. Take your time, because when you learn a language, you have to understand that you develop a new identity, and that identity has I mean, you will understand that your the way you form your sentences will change the way you think, and or vice versa. Your thoughts will be will change the way you speak. Yeah, so you will be you will see, you will notice in time that you will be changing in time. I think it's great to enjoy it, just to enjoy, not struggle, not push yourself towards that's important. And this is because also ahead of this IELTS, you will see in the end of the day that there are many more harder points, harder tasks to achieve in the future. You will see that you will have to adapt to a new life. You will have to find a new let's say a place to stay. You have to find new friends and social circus. I know what I'm saying, because I'm an immigrant myself, and IELTS is just not that hard, really, when the real life starts after you take IELTS. So never forget about it, and just enjoy what you're doing and do it right.
Okay. All right. That was pretty insightful, Elena, whatever information you have given. And I'm sure if you share your information with us with respect to your form links and everything, I would share that with the students who are interested and who really want to get into IELTS speaking module with you. Last thing before we sign off. Yes. Yeah. Thanks a lot for the information. Really, I mean, quite insightful information that you have given us today. Before we close on to the session, I would just like to ask you, how's everything over there at your place? Is everything fine with respect to COVID and everything? And how's life over there?
In Izmir, you mean, in Turkey?
Yes.
And where I am, well, life is great. If you'd like to immigrate to Turkey, of course, you can come and join, because Turkish people are quite friendly, and they love foreigners, and they're open to new cultures, and many of them can speak English and understand you, so you won't feel yourself you know, you'll feel yourself at home. I think this is a great country to live in. But of course, if you pursue like Europe, or I don't know, Canada, the US, of course you can enjoy your life over there as well. Everyone is different, so everyone has their own preferences. But Turkey is great. It's a great country. If anyone needs any help about you know, adapting to Turkey, in order not to come and feel lonely and not to face some cultural shock, I can of course give a couple of tips as well.
Right. All right. That sounds really great. All right, Elena. Thanks a lot for this session. I'm sure we're going to catch up again. And I'm really thankful to you for all the tips and all the insights and all the help that you have provided to our students, and the students are going to listen to this session in future as well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening to me and asking so many interesting questions. That's been a pleasure to be at any use to all your listeners, followers. See you, bye.
See you, bye. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.